Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I'm sharing with you my diary entry for the week of September 25th through October 1st. Today is October 1st, so we are now in October. Geez, the time is just flying by, isn't it? I did change out the warmers in my house today to more Halloween-ish type warmers. I don't use very many. If you watched my what I've been warming videos or my weekly wax wrap-ups, I'm calling them now, you'll notice that I usually only have 2 out here in the main concept area, and I pretty much only use one unless I do not need to use my air cooler. It has been rather hot over the last week. We are still in the mid-90s. This coming week is supposed to be in the mid-80s, so I'm hoping that stays true. One of the days when I checked the temps, it went back up to the mid-90s for the entire week, and I wasn't too happy about it, I'll tell you that. But today is a balmy 73 degrees. It doesn't feel that cool in my house, I will tell you that. But I do not have the air cooler on today, so that was a welcome change. And I still only have one warmer going today because I wasn't too sure how it was going to be, because yesterday it was supposed to be 90, but it didn't even get to the mid 80s. So the weather's kind of weird. It's kind of unpredictable. I'd much rather have it cooler than hotter. So I'm not complaining today, that's for sure. But I changed out my warmers, so now I have a Haunted Mansion warmer on my entertainment center, and then I have a different haunted house warmer as my secondary warmer, which I'll hopefully be using sometime this month, provided I don't have to turn the air cooler on again. But you know, we'll just have to see. I took the ghosty warmer that I had out here and I moved that one to my room, so I have a little bit of Halloween in my room as well. And so yeah, I have had a pretty good week, I would say. I did finish a few things, so as per usual, we'll start off with reading and then we'll get into some knitting. And I don't really have much TV show watching to share with you today because we haven't really watched anything different, but yeah, let's just get into it. So I finished My Happy Marriage Volume 1. This is by Akumi Agitogi, published by Yen On, rated ages 13 and up, so that is teen. This is a Cinderella retelling with a like paranormal twist, I guess. It doesn't really tell you that there is paranormal elements in the book in the summary, but there is a paranormal twist. This is very, very much a Cinderella retelling, though. It's very much the story that I think we all know about a girl whose mother dies when she's really young. She ends up living with her dad, who ends up remarrying, and then in this case he marries a woman and ends up having a child with her, and that child is the one that picks on our main character. And yeah, there are slight differences here and there. Our main dude is not a prince, but he is a high-ranking like military officer working for the emperor in a particular department. And yeah, so I did really, really enjoy this. It didn't take me very long to read. It took me about 3 evenings. And this one just had me constantly saying, okay, one more chapter, one more chapter, one more chapter. The first night I had picked this up, I was up till 4:30 in the morning saying one more chapter, one more chapter, one more chapter. And it's not very much different at that point to the normal Cinderella story, I would say. There were little things here and there, but as you get further into the book, it does change quite a bit. And yeah, by the end, I had a very satisfied feeling, but I also knew that I had another volume, so I definitely had planned on getting into that volume shortly after reading this, but I really, really enjoyed this. Ended up giving this one 4 stars, I think. Really, really enjoyed it. And one of my first light novels that I've actually successfully read, because I did try to read another light novel before, but I just couldn't get into it. I do plan on trying that again. I'm doing Light Novel November challenge for myself, where I focus my reading on light novels. So I am still going to play my TBR game, but I'm going to try to fit light novels in on the prompts. But I really want to focus on reading light novels in November, because I feel like I always neglect those, even though I find a lot of interest in light novels, and I purchase them pretty regularly, so I want to get some of those read. And so yes, we'll definitely be reading a lot more light novels in the month of November. If you want to join in on Light Novel November and read some light novels with me, we can help motivate each other to get through those. And yeah, let me know if you'd like to join me in reading light novels in November. I also read volume 34 of Haikyu. This is by Haruichi Furudate, published by Viz Rated Teen. This is a manga. It's about a volleyball team. Pretty much it follows a school whose volleyball team used to be at the very top, and then it has since fallen down. They're now known as the Clipped Crows. And so we follow the freshmen coming into term, 2 in particular. One who has aspirations to become like one of the players he had idolized growing up, who was on this team at their peak, and another who is kind of known to be very, very talented, but also very, very bossy and only wants to do things his way and doesn't know how to become a team player. And so we follow these two, and they kind of butt heads with each other in their first meeting. And then they get to high school, and they end up having to play on the same team with each other. And we follow this team and these two characters in their growth and their ambition to get back to the top. So the kind of like theme is like the clip crows fly again kind of thing. If you've watched any of my knitting videos, I did do a inspired sweater called the Clip Crows Fly Again, and that was based on this series. But we in this house really, really love this series. We have watched the anime several times through. We own it. Absolutely love it. I just have not gotten through this series yet in the manga form. So this particular volume covers the dumpster battle, which is the battle that happens to be mentioned very, very early in this series. And it's basically a battle between two schools. Our school that we follow throughout the series and the school that is shown here on the cover, which is Nekoma. And that's kind of like the first hurdle that our team is aiming for, is to get to this dumpster battle. And so we're here now, and the dumpster battle has started. It was super exciting. I stopped in the middle of the match because that's where the volume ended. I really need to get to the next volume. Absolutely love this series, and I can't recommend it enough. Watch it in its anime form, read it in the manga. It's good. It's really, really good. And so I'm looking forward to getting more of that read. And then the last thing I finished this week was Five Nights at Freddy's: The Silver Eyes. This is by Scott Cawthon and Kira Breed-Wrisley. This is a novelization kind of based in the lore of the Five Nights at Freddy's world. So Five Nights at Freddy's is a video game franchise. I believe that's where it started. And then the lore might have been built after that or within. I don't know But I have watched some gamers play through some of the Five Nights at Freddy's games. Now, my daughter has been watching a few gamers play through Five Nights at Freddy's games as well, without me. And there's a particular gamer out there called Vox Akuma. I think that's who she was watching. And he's pretty knowledgeable on the lore of this world. And so he has like a dedicated video talking about the lore of this world. But I have not watched that video yet because I don't want to get spoiled for these books. I have heard that these books are very, very different from the lore that's portrayed in, say, the games or wherever they get the information from. I have no idea. But I will never, ever play the Five Nights at Freddy's games. I can't take that. I enjoy watching it. It's very entertaining to see other people watch it, but I could never, play those games. It's just too scary for me. I don't like that kind where it's like if I make something happen and pop out at me, I can't do it. But this book, we're basically following a girl, and her name is Charlie. This is 10 years after an incident had happened at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. And Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is kind of like Chuck E. Cheese. The Chuck E. Cheese we all kind of know and grew up with, except the characters can kind of move on their own accord, or at least some of them can. They're like fully animatronic things that will walk around. And Charlie's dad had invented these animatronic characters. And something had happened there 10 years ago. A kid died. And after that incident, a lot of the kids' families who were like friends with the kid who died had taken their kids and moved elsewhere. So now 10 years later, the kids are graduating high school. They have all come back on their own for a memorial event of the incident and kind of their friend. But there's still questions. Charlie has some questions. And so they kind of go and see if Freddy Fazbear's is still there, like still standing, just out of curiosity. And it turns out that even though the place around Freddy's is being constructed or worked on, Freddy's is still standing. It's not open, but it's still standing. So they decide to go in and investigate. And things happen from there. This is very much a like teen, maybe even a YA thriller. There is a mystery element because there's a mystery element. I can't even say because it would be a spoiler, I think. But I really enjoyed this. I thought it was very interesting. I think because I don't have experience with the lore of this world, that made it so that I was able to enjoy this. I think if I had any like experience or knowledge or anything about this world, I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much as I did. But because I'm very new and very fresh to this franchise, I thought it was really enjoyable. I think if I was, say, 12, 13, and I was reading this, it would make me a little bit afraid to go to Chuck E. Cheese. But yeah, I enjoyed Chuck E. Cheese when I was growing up. I was never afraid of those characters. But it gave me that nostalgic feel. That nostalgic feel of being in Chuck E. Cheese, like having a birthday party there. You know, when the lights would go down and you'd see all the characters like singing and dancing, and the smell of like the pizza and things like that. It kind of took me back, and I really enjoyed it, so much so that I really want to read the next one. And I may have to go out and pick that up soon. I do know that my library has copies of these available digitally through Overdrive and Hoopla. So, yes, I did listen to most of this on audiobook. I really enjoyed that. I will say the main character is kind of unlikable, but I think it fits with how this story kind of goes. And so, yes, I really, really enjoyed that. And since I won't be playing the games, I think this is the way for me to enjoy that franchise. So that's everything I finished this week. I am on page 129 of My Happy Marriage. So you can see there, I'm about 3/4 done with the book. I'm really enjoying this one. Now that we've kind of gotten away from the whole like Cinderella retelling portion, this is kind of like past that. So we never ever see the story of Cinderella after she gets together with the prince. Now, our characters here aren't like married, but they are engaged. And I don't feel like that's a spoiler because Cinderella retellings should end in some kind of like engagement, right? So So yeah, I don't feel like that's a spoiler, but our two characters here are engaged. I will tell you that this one is giving me a little bit of unenjoyment just because there's a miscommunication trope in here, and both of the characters are holding back things from the other because they don't want to upset them, or they don't feel like it's a good time to bring it up because they feel like the other person is stressed or like had a hard day at work or something like that. And I hate that. So I'm not enjoying this one as much as I enjoyed the first one, but I am still very interested in the two characters. I think right now where I am, we are now finally past all of that. And something has happened now where I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? So I'm really, really looking forward to finishing this one. I think that should be this coming week. And yes, I think the next volume of this comes out in November. So I don't have much time to wait until the next one comes out. But I'm really, really enjoying this still. And so, yeah, that's what I am currently reading. And so that takes care of everything I'm reading right now. If you saw the thumbnail, you know that I have some knitting to share with you. So I have been working away diligently on my Mostly Ghostly. So this is where we are right now. I have finally split for the sleeve. So can I do this? Let me move over. Yes, if I lean back like this, you can see it. So I am very, very happy with this. Now, this color here is still pretty muted, but I can still see it. Like I said, I am not bothered by the fact that the dimension between the two colors is not that great, because I can still see it, and I am very, very happy with how this is looking. The color work is a little bit like puffy, but I think that will get worked out with blocking. And so, yes, I'm very, very happy with this. I have split for the sleeves, so you can see here. I just put it on this like jelly string, which is like all the rage in the knitting world right now. So, yes, I am really, really loving that. Now I just got to go round and round and round. So the jelly things that I'm using are these Pop Possibilities 30 count loopy cords. So they're just plastic like cords like this. They're each a meter long. I think this only cost me like $3. And so yeah, I thought they'd be nice to use. I also have this one, which is, it's a pony bead lacing. It's just plastic. And this is 60 meters for each color, so I could just cut sections off as I need. But yeah, I much prefer having these cords on here like this because it does make it lighter. So normally what I'd use is a metal stitch holder, and it's heavy. When you've got two of them, it does weigh it down a bit. So when you're like, you know, where I am right now, which is right under the underarm, I've only done about this much under the arm. You know, it can stretch the fabric while you're working, and that's never good. So I'm really enjoying these so far. They are a bit long though, because you can see that I have all of this left. But I'm just tucking it into the sleeve, and that seems to be helping keep it from tickling my leg while I knit. But yeah, I'm very happy with how this looks. Now, I am contemplating stopping where I am right now on this, since it's just round and round on the body, and then starting my colorwork yoke for my pumpkin patch. So I have wanted to make a pumpkin patch sweater by Meghan Regan, again, of the Bad Wolf Glow Studios. I do already have the yarn set aside. This obviously is the part that needs the most concentration. So that's why I'm thinking maybe now that I'm in a headspace to be doing that kind of concentration, to just go ahead and knit the color work of the other sweater as well. Then I can come back to this and just keep going round and round and round and do some mindless knitting, and then finish this one, and then go back to the pumpkin patch and do the mindless knitting there. Yeah, so I'm debating that at the moment. I may not be able to, because I don't know if I have another like cord that I can use. I have needles, I just don't know if I have a cord that's long enough. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking about right now. I'm very happy with this. I want to get a few more rows on the body, just so that it lays a little bit better when I go and lay it down for a photo, because I do want to get that glow in the dark shot for you. And so yes, very happy with this, and it seems like it's going to fit pretty good, so I'm happy with that as well. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I've done this week. Today, October 1st, starts the Halloween Sockoween, I think that's what they're calling it, Sockoween knit along by the Bakery Bears. So I've told you before that I am a Bakery Bear patron, and they're doing a patron only Halloween sock knit along for the whole month of October. So I do have intentions on participating in that as well. I have set aside some Halloween yarn to use, and we'll see if I can get motivated to do that. But right now, I'm really enjoying my sweater. And even though it's not going to be a sweater, it's going to be a sweater shirt, because I will be making the sleeves on the shorter side. So yeah, as for TV and movies, we haven't watched any movies. We do have intentions of watching Hocus Pocus 2 sometime, but we've just been watching our normal TV shows. Nothing new this week. So yeah, it was very hot this week. I wasn't very happy, but hopefully this week it'll be cooler and it'll stick to the cooler temps. So yeah, pretty short and sweet one this time around. Let me know down in the comments below what you've read this week. Let me know if you've watched anything new or interesting, or if you've found a book you absolutely loved at the end of the month, or let me know what your best and worst reads of September were. I would really love to know. If nothing else, you would just like to let me know that you were here. If you could leave me a ghosty emoji down in the comments below, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.